While dozing off over his homework, a boy named Anton hears something strange. His older brother, Buller, is whispering. When he looks out the window, he sees him up on the roof again. Afraid he might jump and hurt himself, Anton rushes out and helps him down. Even though he's the younger one, Anton often acts like the older brother. He takes care of Buller, helps him with his homework, and even gives their mom a hand around the house. The next morning after breakfast, the two head out to school. On the way, a classmate named Agnes follows close behind. It seems she likes Anton, but Buller gets annoyed that his brother tags along everywhere. He tells him he can walk alone, and Anton, tired of hearing it, decides to test him. When the light turns green, Anton tells Buller to cross first. But as soon as the cars start moving again, Buller freezes in the middle of the street. Worried, Anton waits for the light to change back and runs to help him. Buller has a high level of autism, which makes it hard for him to handle too many stimuli. He's very sensitive to noise and movement, and that's why he can't be left unsupervised. When they arrive at school, Anton spots a group of troublemakers coming their way and tells his brother to hide. Meanwhile, he faces the bullies himself. From a distance, Buller watches as they steal his brother's lunch every day, feeling helpless and frustrated that he can't do anything to protect him. Later that day, after a visit to the psychiatrist, the two argue inside the car. Exhausted, Anton yells that he's sick of having a brother who needs so much attention. When their mom parks and steps out to run some errands, Anton watches two brothers playing with a ball and goes quiet, wishing he could have that kind of relationship with Buller. Back home, Buller locks himself in his room with his drawing materials and spends the entire night lost in his own world. That same night, he tries to make peace. He gives Anton a stack of drawings he made for him, hoping to make up. But Anton, still upset, throws them in the trash as soon as Buller turns around. A few minutes later, he hears his brother's whispers again and sees him climbing back onto the roof. Anton follows him, but this time he does nothing. Even though he loves his brother deeply, Anton can't help but think, for a brief moment, that maybe life would be easier if Buller didn't exist. That same night, something strange happens. A burning sphere falls from the sky and crashes into a park near the school, leaving behind a massive crater. The next day, their teacher takes the students on a walk to see the impact site. While the others wander around, Anton starts playing with a spider and jokes that he wishes one would bite Buller so he could become Spider-Man and he could be the brother of a superhero. Suddenly, smoke rises from a nearby mound of dirt, and Anton walks over curiously to see what it is. Meanwhile, his mother, Anja, visits a natural products shop, looking for something that might help her son. The shopkeeper tells her about a plant that monks use to brew a miracle tea, said to cure mental disorders. Hopeful, Anja decides to give it a try, thinking it might help Buller adjust better to the world. Back at school, when class ends, Anton notices Agnes following him again. He tries to lose her by walking faster down the hallways and accidentally bumps into a janitor who's cleaning the windows. At that moment, Max and his group of friends get sprayed with water, setting off a chain reaction that drenches several students. Anton takes advantage of the chaos to slip away before Max can find him, but in the end, he gets caught just outside while waiting for his brother. When Anton is attacked by the bullies, Buller hides, unable to gather the courage to help him. Seeing that his brother watched everything and did nothing, Anton feels betrayed. That frustration follows him all the way home, where he still has to listen to his mother scolding him for how he treats Buller. During the argument, Anton explodes. He says he's tired of having to take care of everything, of helping her around the house, and of always looking after his brother. He says he can't wait to grow up so he can leave and put all of this behind him. After the fight, he climbs onto the roof and, staring at the stars, makes a wish that his brother could be like the other kids. At that very moment, he sees an airplane flying over the house and takes it as a sign. That same night, Anton looks for the drawings his brother made for him. When he puts them together, he realizes they form some kind of puzzle. Once complete, it shows a large sphere falling from the sky, exactly like the one that crashed in the park near his school. Convinced there's something out there, he decides to go back to the site and starts digging. After a while, he finds the sphere and brings it home. He asks Buller to help him figure out what it is. Based on his brother's own drawings, Anton suspects that Buller already knows something about it, and Buller confirms that it came from another planet. Intrigued, Anton grabs a baseball bat and tries to open it. After a few hits, the sphere slowly begins to open, like a giant oyster. From inside, glowing tentacles and a swarm of shimmering butterflies fill the room. When Anton leans closer to see if there's anything else inside, he finds a strange device. By accident, he fires a beam of light that hits Buller directly on the thumb. Instantly, Buller's finger starts to glow, and right in front of them appears a hologram of a man named Leech, a toy engineer who lives on another planet called Cuber. Leech explains that after retiring, he decided to send his inventions to different corners of the universe so other children could enjoy them. Because of that, Anton and Buller are now the new owners of an incredible toy called Super Travel Control, a space travel controller. There's only one warning: it must never be exposed to water or sunlight. When the message ends, a floating screen appears in the room, and Anton, curious, presses play. The toy activates and begins to glow. Anton points the beam toward the fish tank, and the goldfish starts spinning rapidly, forming a small whirlpool in the water. Frightened by what they just saw, the brothers run out of the room and shut the door, promising to keep it a secret. That night, they sleep together in Buller's room. But while the lights are off, Buller's finger starts glowing again. He stares at it for a moment, wonders if maybe he doesn't belong to this planet. Then he waits for the light to fade and falls asleep. The next morning, their mother, Anja, prepares the miracle tea she bought the day before. Buller decides to drink it, hoping to become normal, or at least a teenager like everyone else. Later, when the brothers return from school, they find out that their mom has a date that night and that they'll be home alone. As soon as Anja leaves, the two run to Anton's room and discover that the goldfish is still spinning in the whirlpool inside the tank. Curious, Buller asks his brother to use the beam on him. Anton hesitates, but eventually agrees. The moment he does, Buller's entire body lights up with an intense blue glow. When the brightness fades, Buller tries to speak, but his voice fails. Anton panics and tries to help him, until suddenly, Buller stands up. He's different. He moves, talks, and acts like a normal kid. Anton doesn't fully understand what just happened, but he's amazed and thrilled. For the first time in his life, he feels like he has a super cool older brother by his side. That night, everything changes. This time, it's Buller who helps his little brother with his homework. Anton looks at him in shock, but also with relief. For the first time, he feels like he no longer has to carry that responsibility on his own. The next morning, as they leave the house, they run into a neighbor who starts complaining about the flagpole Anton keeps in front of his home. As soon as the man gets into his car and drives away, Buller grabs the pole with his bare hands, pulls it out of the ground effortlessly, and leaves it in the neighbor's yard. Anton can't believe it. He's amazed by his brother's strength and feels proud of him. Later that day, when they return home, Agnes shows up trying to talk to Anton, but he avoids her again and shuts the door. That same night, their mother, Anja, returns to the neighborhood after a date. While she tries to say goodbye to the man she went out with, he insists on walking her to her door. When they reach the backyard, she thanks him and closes the door in his face before he can try to step inside. The next morning, Anja makes tea for Buller, not realizing he's not the same as before. She notices something different about him. He seems more confident, more mature. Proudly, she tells him how happy she is to see how much he's grown. On the way to school, Anton warns him to be careful so their mom doesn't notice that something strange is going on with him. As they walk, Agnes follows them as usual, but this time Anton doesn't feel annoyed. For the first time in his life, he knows what it's like to have an older brother who looks out for him. During class, Agnes slips Anton a note asking if he wants to be her boyfriend. Nervous, he avoids answering and quickly changes the subject. At recess, things take a turn. Max shows up again, steals Anton's lunch, and, not satisfied with that, demands his weekly allowance too. Instead of giving him the money, Anton proposes another deal. He'll introduce him to his older brother after school. Later, when the school day ends, Anton and Buller wait for the gang on the soccer field. But after a few minutes, Buller gets bored and leaves. Right after that, Max and his friends show up. Anton tries to defend himself, but ends up covered in mud. Angry and humiliated, he storms home and confronts Buller, blaming him for everything that happened. Then he runs upstairs to his room and kicks the toy they found in the spaceship. The controller flies across the room, lands in the fish tank, and stops working. Anton notices that the goldfish has stopped spinning, and that terrifies him. He runs to check on his brother, afraid that the blue light's effect might have worn off. And unfortunately, he's right. Buller is back to the way he was before. A short while later, Anja comes home. When she sees that her son has returned to his usual state, she's disappointed. She believes the miracle tea didn't work. Seeing how sad his mother is, Anton tries to fix it. He places the controller on top of the heater, hoping the warmth will make it work again. After taking a shower, he comes downstairs for dinner and sees that his mother has made an ice cream cake for dessert. Noticing how down she is, Anton hugs her to comfort her. Suddenly, the doorbell rings. Anja opens the door and finds Agnes standing there, holding an invitation for Anton. That weekend, there will be a costume party, complete with a contest. Anton doesn't seem very excited and says he's not going, but his mother insists. She tells him both brothers should go and that she'll take care of the costumes herself. The next day at school, Anton runs into Max's gang again. To avoid trouble, he hides behind the trash bins and manages to sneak past them unnoticed. Meanwhile, an idea comes to him. He can use his mom's hairdryer to try and revive the controller. Back home, he puts the plan into action, and it works. The goldfish starts swimming in circles again inside the tank. Anton smiles, relieved, convinced he's fixed it. But just then, the hologram of Lige appears once more. He warns Anton that the controller will permanently shut down in 36 hours, since it was exposed to water. Anton is in his room when he suddenly hears loud music coming from his brother's room. Curious, he peeks in and feels relieved to see Buller acting different again, more confident, more free. But what happens next leaves him breathless. Buller opens the window, takes a running start, and jumps. Anton rushes to the window and can't believe his eyes. His brother is flying like a real superhero. Without thinking twice, he runs down the stairs and dashes outside after him. While Buller soars above the city, Anton follows from below, thrilled and proud of his brother. But in the middle of the chase, he runs into Agnes, who appears right in his way. Anton tries to dodge her, hides for a moment, and when he finally manages to get away, he runs off to find Buller again. He finds him unharmed, though the neighbor's garden is completely destroyed. Just then, Navo, another neighbor, shows up, so the brothers sprint home and jump into the shower before their mother gets back from work. Anton is worried. He knows that if his mom finds out what happened, they'll be in serious trouble. So he asks Buller to keep his superpowers a secret. But Buller, with his new personality, can't help acting differently. He speaks with confidence, laughs easily, and seems like a completely new person. Seeing him like that, Anja gets emotional. She believes her son is finally getting better and that he's waking up at last. But Anton can't share her joy. He knows the effect of the control will wear off in less than 30 hours, and his brother will go back to being his old self. The next day, Anja returns to the natural products store and buys more tea, convinced that the plant is what's causing Buller's change. Later, when she gets home, she gives both boys costumes for the weekend party and calls Anton to talk privately. She asks him to keep a secret and confides that every morning she gives Buller that special tea because she believes it's helping him get better. That night, already wearing his costume, Buller fully embraces his superhero role. He heads out, determined to face the boys who used to make fun of his brother. He finds them, mocks them back, and challenges them to meet him at dawn on the soccer field. Then he kicks his ball into the air and disappears into the darkness. But when he returns home, his mood completely changes. The control shows him that he only has 11 hours left before losing his powers, and he bursts into tears. He doesn't want to go back to being the same. He doesn't want to return to that limited version of himself. Anton tries to comfort him, but Buller, knowing there's nothing he can do, decides to make the most of his remaining time. With a sad smile, he grabs the travel control and uses the beam to give Anton superpowers too. Then, together, they head downstairs, ready to go to the party. At the door, Henrik, the man dating their mother, is waiting. He takes the chance to stay behind with Anja while the boys leave. When the brothers arrive at the school, they discover that Agnes is there, dressed as a black cat, and to everyone's surprise, they're the only guests. Still, the girl pulls out little papers with names to pick her dance partner, and by pure chance, the chosen name is Anton's. As they dance, Buller snacks on treats and notices that every paper had the same name, his brother's. Agnes had clearly planned it. After a fun night, the two return home and notice that their mother looks uncomfortable with Henrik. Buller decides to step in. He invites Henrik to talk privately and leads him to the upstairs bathroom. There, the boys immobilize the man and, while brushing his teeth for him, order him to leave and never bother their mother again. Terrified, Henrik obeys and leaves. A few minutes later, Buller takes his mother and Anton up to the rooftop. From there, he shows her the breathtaking city view. Anja smiles in awe. She had always dreamed of visiting Paris, and for a moment, it feels like that dream has come true. Anton and Buller take her by the arms, and together they lift off into the sky like a real superhero family. After flying over the city for a while, the brothers and their mother land to buy some ice cream. They laugh, take a photo, and enjoy the moment, knowing that very soon, the superpowers will be gone. They return home and go up to their room, where the control shows a countdown. Only 15 minutes remain before it shuts down forever. Anton and Buller decide to make the most of their final moments by doing something epic, chasing after Max and his gang. But on the way, Buller changes his mind. Instead of following the plan, he begins to fly higher and higher, breaking through the clouds as the sun starts to rise. Together they watch the sunrise, enjoying that last instant of absolute freedom. Suddenly, the control emits a sharp beep. It is the self-destruct signal. In an instant, the brothers lose their powers and start to plummet. The wind hits them hard, but Anton reacts just in time and opens the toy's small emergency parachute. The two hold on to each other tightly until they finally land safe and sound. When they look around, they realize they have fallen right in the middle of the soccer field. But the magical moment fades quickly. Buller is back to being the shy, insecure boy he once was. Anton tries to calm him down, but in the distance, he sees Max and his group approaching, ready to mess with them again. Anton steps forward and tells his brother to stay back. Nervous, Buller tries to intimidate the bullies, but no one is scared. Max immediately realizes that he no longer has powers and starts mocking him. Anton can't take it anymore and, furious, throws himself at them to defend his brother. This time, Buller doesn't stay behind. Even though he's afraid, he decides to fight by Anton's side. The two brothers face the bullies, clumsy but determined. The group knocks them down easily, but they refuse to give up. Bruised and sore, they get back up and challenge them to another round. They get knocked down again, yet still rise one more time. Tired of their stubborn courage, Max and the others finally decide to walk away. Breathing heavily but smiling, Anton thanks his brother for not leaving him alone. Though both end up battered and covered in bruises, they have gained something far more important: mutual respect and an unbreakable bond. Later, the boys recover the toy, now useless, and hide it in a secret place. Everything seems to return to normal, until that same night. While they sleep, a bright light begins to shine from the hiding spot. The control turns back on, lighting up the entire room and waking both brothers, who open their eyes in astonishment, unaware that their story is far from over. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know what you think about this movie.